So we've seen a little bit of copy and paste. Well, what about adding additional rows and additional columns into an already built spreadsheet? Let's take a look. So here, I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bills, right? What if I want to introduce an additional bill into my monthly budget here? Well, you can do this a couple of ways, and there's a few things that we need to be aware of. Let's take a look at it. So first off, I want to introduce a new bill in here. So I need a new row for that new bill so I can put the numbers in there and the calculations. And the calculations is really what we need to keep an eye on. So the way that I'm going to do it here is, let's say I want to introduce the bill somewhere in the middle of my data. So I'm going to put it right in between phone, credit, and food, somewhere in there. So what I'm going to do is click on the row 7, just the header right there on the left. Click on row 7. This will highlight the entire row. And on my keyboard, I got a full keyboard here. Let's see if I can show you this on the camera here. I got it. Let's see, there it is. And I got the full keyboard here. So it's got all of my alpha characters and my numbers up along the top, all my special characters, and I got my number pad. And that's what I mean by the full keyboard. Some of you might be sitting at a laptop that doesn't have the number pad on the far right. You might have it there, you might not. Just a lot of laptops don't come with that full-size keyboard. So I'm going to give you a shortcut. It's going to be a little bit different based on whether or not you have the full keyboard, or the number pad, or you just have the main portion of the keyboard. So I've got the number 7, that row selected. And on my keyboard, I'm going to hold down the Control key. And on my number pad, I'm going to hit the plus sign. And this will insert a new row. So now I could put in my new bill. I can say, hey, okay, we've got rent, phone, credit card, food, we got candy. Now let's see, we've also got, we got water. Right, got to pay for the water bill. Right, so I drop in my label. I'm now going to drop in some numbers. Watch my bottom calculations here. So $16.75 for the month of January. So let's say for water, I spent $50. I'm going to hit my tab key to go to the next month. And look at that. My formula automatically updated. Let's just double check it. C5 to C10 is now including all of those new cells, or the one new cell, right? And that happens because I added that row somewhere within that data set. If I'm outside of that data set, like I added up above the table, of course, Excel's not going to get it. You put it someplace in between that existing set of data, and the formula automatically updates. Now I keep going here. Maybe I'll just autofill this over. Got $50 for each month for water, but now it doesn't have a total for that water. Well, not a big deal. We just talked about copy paste earlier, right? Or the autofill. I can go to 350, copy that, Control C, drop down, Control V, paste it in, and I've now got my 150 for water. And I'll do the same here for percent. Copy, paste. Roughly 2% of my bills goes to water for these 3 months, right? So I can insert a new row, drop in my values, and just watch your calculations. These bottom ones, automatically updated. These, I just copy, paste, or autofill them down, and I'm done. Now, the same is true for a column. Let's say I need to add the next month. So I go to F, select the F column. On my keyboard, earlier I used Control and the plus sign on my number pad. If you don't have the number pad, you've got the plus sign at the top of your keyboard. So I can do Control Shift plus at the top of my keyboard, because the equal sign's the regular one. And that'll insert, let's get that selected. That'll insert a new column. And let's see, January, February, March, we got April, right? April 2019. There we go. And I can start dropping my numbers. So let's say rent went up $100, and I got 1,100. Phone 125. Water went down. Credit cards, I'm getting those paid down 150. Food went up. Candy stayed at 100. And all these calculations over here should have updated. Now includes that April in there, but I need to populate the one at the bottom. Grab the 18, autofill that over, call it done. All right, so adding rows, adding columns, I use shortcuts. Highlight the row or highlight the column, Control plus on your number pad, or Control Shift plus for the top plus sign. You've also got interface tools you can use as well. If I go to the Home tab, looking at Excel here, Home, I go over towards the right, you got a section called Cells, and inside of there, you've got Insert. So I can go to Insert here, and I got the same options. I can insert rows, I can insert columns. You got the options right there. And I like shortcuts, right? Control plus, done. We can also perform deletions on rows and columns. Let's say I no longer need water. Well, actually I need water, but I don't need it inside of Excel, right? So I can highlight row 7 again. And this time, rather than Control plus to add a new row, I'm going to press Control minus. And that'll delete the row. Water's now gone. Let's get rid of April. I can highlight that one and Control minus, delete it. Now again, if you don't have the full number pad, you can do Control and minus at the top of your keyboard. No Shift key on that one, just Control and the minus symbol. Done. All right, and you got the same option up above. On your Home tab, you got delete, and you can delete rows and columns right there. So you have multiple ways to do just about everything, and that's really not just it, but I love shortcuts. Just keep in mind, as you add rows and columns to an existing set of data, that you watch the formulas. Make sure that they're updating, or in some cases, you'll have to populate them yourself. So try this out. Add some additional months, add some additional rows, whatever you like to do. And this is also a good spot within our course to take a moment and take a snapshot of your document. Okay? If you're not getting too personal with your data, take a snapshot, go to the Q&A section inside the course, and drop that snapshot in there. Let us see what you've done so far. Let's celebrate what you're learning inside of Excel. So it's exciting. There's so much that you can do inside of this application. And again, we've only gone through a little bit of the course. There's so much more you can do inside of Excel and streamline your efforts and become more efficient as you work with your data inside of Excel. So get this done. Let's jump into our next lecture.